There are useless players in any club that warm the bench and get paid for that. The reasons for that are different: a failed transfer, a loss of form, or a search for career options. Some clubs are lucky to have the chance to get rid of their useless players during this mid-season, as they will become free agents. This means that the board will not have to bother themselves searching for new clubs for such players. Meanwhile, some teams are not that lucky, as they will have to find a way to get rid of a lot of dead weight. Today, we're going to tell you about footballers their clubs need to release. But before we start, answer a question. For which player did Chelsea receive the highest transfer fee? Alvaro Morata, Diego Costa, Mohamed Salah, Tammy Abraham? Leave your answer in the comments, and now we begin. Arsenal, Emile Smith-Rowe. This season, the Gunners are doing really great. The team has reached a new level in terms of playing style, mostly thanks to the effective system that gives practice to many players. Arguably, the most deprived one at Arsenal is the young midfielder Emile Smith-Rowe, who played decently last season, scoring 10 goals and making 2 assists. This year, the competition in the Gunners squad has increased, and as a result, the Englishman lost his place in the first 11. In September, Emile had a groin operation, because of which he had to be out until January. After his return, Smith-Rowe has been trying to get in good physical shape to match his partner's conditions. The midfielder has not started a single Premier League match, which is a very worrying sign. The head coach Mikel Arteta keeps supporting Emile, but it is hard to say if Smith-Rowe will get any playing time next season because of high competition and the new level of the team. The Englishman is able to play as an attacking midfielder as well as a right winger, but considering the incredible form of Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard, hardly Emile will be able to reintegrate into the first 11. It is reported that Aston Villa is interested in signing Smith-Rowe. Last summer, Arsenal rejected an offer from the Villains. Let's see how it all unfolds this year. Tottenham, Davinson Sanchez, Japhet Tanganga. The 26-year-old Colombian has been at Tottenham for 5 seasons already, but in recent years he's been out of the first 11. This season, his playing time has significantly decreased. Manager Antonio Conte preferred other players, but the situation hasn't changed even after the Italian's departure. This season, Sanchez has played only 673 minutes in the Premier League, and this will probably become the worst record in Davinson's career in England. And it didn't come out of nowhere. The thing is that the Colombian is responsible for many conceded goals. It is difficult to call him a reliable defender. That's why Tottenham should get rid of him. However, Japhet Tanganga can be named as the most forgotten out of all defenders. The Englishman enjoyed Jose Mourinho's trust, but under Antonio Conte, it all went wrong for him. The footballer is only considered an emergency backup at Tottenham, and the situation is hardly going to change even under a new manager. Last season, AC Milan showed interest in the 24-year-old defender, but the deal failed. This summer, Tanganga will most probably leave Tottenham, but hardly his new club will be that reputable as Rossoneri. Presumably, it is going to be a mid-table team from the Premier League. Chelsea, Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, Romelu Lukaku. After having spent huge money on transfers in January, the Blues face the problem of having too many players in the squad. There are more than 30 players in the first team at the moment, because of which some players even have no place in the dressing room. Obviously, there's going to be a serious cleaning in the Chelsea squad this summer. Many players may leave the club, but we have defined the main candidates. Let's start with Hakim Ziyech. The Moroccan did not live up to the fans' expectations after his move from Ajax in summer 2020. This year, it all has been even worse for him. If he used to play in non-important matches or was subbed in from time to time, this season he doesn't get a chance. Ziyech was hoping to sign for another club after his great game for Morocco national team in the World Cup as they reached the quarterfinal. And actually, the midfielder was a step away from moving to PSG, but the deal fell through at the very last moment because of some stupid paperwork errors on the Chelsea side. Hakim had to return to London, but nothing good came out of it. Ziyech has played only 603 minutes in the Premier League and made 1 assist. The player is definitely looking forward to leaving the Chelsea this summer, just like the Chelsea board, as both sides are just tired of each other. Another obvious candidate for leaving the club is Christian Pulisic. The American had a decent debut season in the Premier League, scoring 9 goals and making 6 assists. The winger was expected to make another step in his development, but the injuries and the serious competition did not let him unleash his full potential. However, this season Christian has been useless for Chelsea, and it becomes obvious at those rare moments when he comes out on the pitch. The player doesn't fit his team's game and is always lost. However, in the World Cup, Pulisic proved he is still able to demonstrate a good game. Newcastle are going to try to sign him this summer, and apparently Chelsea will be happy to sell the American to Magpies. And not to forget about Romelu Lukaku. The Belgian was the worst failed transfer for the Blues in summer 2021. They paid 113 million euros for him, and not only he scored only 8 goals in the Premier League, he urged his departure to Inter right in the middle of the season. The new Chelsea owners decided to fulfill his demands and send him back to Giuseppe Meazza, but the reunion was not as good as Lukaku had expected. The Belgian missed a solid part of the season because of various injuries and scored only 5 goals in Serie A. Romelu still wants to stay at Inter and has no intention to leave, but the Nerazzurri report have no desire to keep the player for prudential reasons. It is enough to mention that the loan deal and the player's salary costs the club 20 million euros. Hardly Inter will buy the player out, although it is possible they extend his loan. But the forward has to finish the season positively. If he doesn't impress the Inter board, Chelsea will have hard times trying to get rid of Lukaku. Bayern Munich, Ryan Gravenberch. The Dutchman's expectations concerning his first season at Bayern were not met. When moving from Ajax, the midfielder hoped he would often start matches, but the fact is that he started only 1 Bundesliga match in the second half of the season. The former Bayern manager Julian Nagelsmann did not really like Ryan and criticized him a lot, but the midfielder did not get any more playing time with the arrival of Thomas Tuchel, and his future at the club is still doubtful. The Bayern board keeps saying they're not going to sell the 20-year-old player, but considering the serious interest from Liverpool, the situation may change. When on the pitch, Gravenberch gets lost and doesn't fit the Bayern's game at all. Considering that soon Konrad Laimer and possibly another midfielder will join the club, it is going to be way more difficult for Ryan to make it into the first 11. The fact is that the German side bought the player with a huge discount, paying only 18.5 million euros, so if they sell him to Liverpool, they may earn some money from that deal. Atletico Madrid, Saúl Ñíguez. The Spaniard is going through hard times as his career has been going down in recent years. Last season, Atletico managed to temporarily get rid of the player by sending him on loan to Chelsea. The midfielder miserably failed, as it was hard for him even being a rotational player. Saúl scored only 1 goal for the Blues in all competitions, which was obviously not enough for the Chelsea board to even think about buying him out for 40 million euros. After returning to Atletico, Ñíguez was hoping to relaunch his career at a club where he had been once considered one of the best midfielders on the planet, but the miracle never happened. Saúl is now the first-choice player for Diego Simeone, and by today he has only played 686 minutes in La Liga, although the player is the 4th highest-earning player in the team. In January, Ñíguez could have joined Valencia on loan, but the deal fell through. Saúl's contract with Atletico lasts until summer 2026, thus the board will have to work their pants out if they want to get rid of a player they do not need. But Los Colchoneros will definitely try to find a new club for Saúl so as not to pay him 12 million euros per year. Friends, if you like our content, please help us reach the mark of 5,000 followers. For that, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications bell. Thank you, and now to the next listing. Manchester City, Aymeric Laporte, João Cancelo. This summer, the citizens will try to get rid of 2 defenders. The main candidate for the departure is Aymeric Laporte, who has lost his importance in the team and a place in the first 11, despite his former achievements. Manchester City is currently playing with a 3-defender formation. On both sides of Ruben Dias, we usually see Manuel Akanji and Nathan Ake, who are able to play on the defensive wings as well. Josep Guardiola finds this system as the most flexible one and doesn't see Laporte in it. The Spanish national has played only 8 matches in the Premier League this season, which is a very low number for a defender who has been crucial in winning 4 Premier League titles. Barcelona is reported to be interested in Aymeric, but Blaugrana's financial problems won't allow them to spend money on the Spaniard, so Inigo Martinez's free transfer from Athletic Bilbao seems more realistic. However, Aymeric himself wants to leave City and find a club where he will be a guaranteed first 11 player, but his new destination is still an open question. Another defender has lost Josep Guardiola's trust this season. It's João Cancelo. In the last 2 seasons, the Portuguese was demonstrating an elite game and was considered one of the best fullbacks on the planet thanks to his versatile skills. But the rebuilding of Guardiola's system influenced his playing time. According to rumors, these resulted in a conflict with the head coach. That is why Joao had to leave City and join Bayern on loan. But things are not that good for him in Germany either. There are different opinions among Die Roten management over the defender's future at Allianz Arena. Even if the club decides to buy the player out, Bayern are not prepared to pay 70 million euros for him. However, Cancelo will hardly return to Manchester. Besides the fact that the Portuguese is out of Josep Guardiola's plans, the supporters were quite aggressive towards him in the Champions League quarter-final when they booed him at every touch of the ball. There's a chance Cancelo may join Barcelona, but even if that happens, this will be just another loan deal. By the way, recently we've released a video about players who have been booed by their own supporters. Make sure you watch it after you're done with this one. Real Madrid. Eden Hazard, Álvaro Odriozola. This is the Belgian's 4th season at Real Madrid. Los Blancos paid 115 million euros for him in summer 2019, making him the most expensive transfer in their history. Since then, Hazard has been unable to make an impact at his new club. The main problem for that were his constant injuries that did not allow him to gain form. With time, Hazard completely lost his place in the first 11, and today his game is just disastrous. The footballer is not ready for La Liga matches physically, and it is very strange, as Eden used to be one of the best in such an intensive competition like the Premier League. This season, Hazard has only played 5 matches and 133 minutes in La Liga. The thing is that the winger is the highest earning player at the club, as his wage is 31 million euros per year. Eden's contract lasts another season. The player has recently stated in an interview that he'd like to stay and prove his worthiness, but something tells us that the Real Madrid board has had enough of waiting. And the whole process costs a lot of money. The problem is that hardly any European team would want to buy Hazard in the current condition. The only hope are the clubs from other continents who may lure the Belgian with a high salary. Another useless Real Madrid player is Álvaro Odriozola, whose contract expires in summer 2024. The Spaniard earns around 7 million euros per year, which is annoying the Los Blancos board, as he has only played 30 minutes this season in La Liga. Last season, Álvaro spent in Serie A performing for Fiorentina on loan, but Viola decided not to sign the player on a permanent basis. In 2018, Odriozola was joining Real Madrid as one of the most promising right-backs in the country, who was also captain the national team. Unfortunately, he did not meet the expectations. And this summer, there's a good chance that Álvaro may leave Santiago Bernabeu forever. Manchester United. Harry Maguire, Donny van de Beek. Since last season, the Red Devils captain has been shocking the whole world with his clumsy performance. In summer 2019, the Englishman became the most expensive central defender, moving from Leicester to United for 87 million euros. At first it all went well for Harry at Old Trafford, and quickly enough he earned the captain's armband. but last season we all saw a completely different Maguire. The defender made stupid mistakes one after another, causing unnecessary goals. At the beginning of this season under Erik ten Hag, Harry remained a first-choice defender, but after 2 defeats in the first 2 matches, the manager removed the Englishman from the lineup. Even with injured Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane, Maguire cannot be named a first-choice player at Man United. However, Harry played well enough for England in the World Cup. Pundits think the Englishman is good in a 3-defender formation and cannot prove his value in other systems. Considering all the problems, Maguire's departure this summer seems quite possible. But on the other hand, which club will be brave enough to buy Harry? And will Man United be willing to let go of a player they spent 87 million euros on? We're yet to find out. Another obvious departure is Donny van de Beek. The Dutchman joined Man United from Ajax in summer 2020. Back then, the player was considered one of the most promising midfielders in the world. Donny was able to play as a defensive, central or attacking midfielder, which made him a very precious player for any team. Unfortunately, he was unable to unleash in England. He had to compete with Bruno Fernandes for a place in the lineup, and he was the key player in the team. Last season, Van de Beek had to go on loan to Everton, but that spell didn't help the Dutchman to relaunch his career. Even the arrival of his former coach Erik ten Hag, under whom Donny performed well at Ajax, didn't help him. So it is quite possible that he may return to his native club this summer. At least, there are no other contenders for the player yet. Barcelona: Samuel Umtiti, Serginho Dest, Jordi Alba. The Catalan team will have to work hard to get rid of unnecessary players and free some wage budget. The number 1 candidate is of course Samuel Umtiti, who is currently on loan at Lecce. The Frenchman used to be a first-team player in his national team and even won the World Cup. He was considered one of the most promising defenders in the world, but after a knee injury, Samuel was unable to find his best form. This season, the defender is performing well for Lecce, and this attracted some other Serie A clubs. For instance, both Milan-based clubs, AC Milan and Inter, would love to sign Umtiti. We'll see which club succeeds in this battle. Another Barcelona defender that has been loaned out this season to Serie A is Serginho Dest. The American is playing for AC Milan, where he was starting games at first, but soon was benched. Barcelona head coach Xavi Hernandez doesn't count on the fullback, and he has made that clear in a private conversation. Dest joined the Blaugrana from Ajax in summer 2019, and since then his career stalled and even declined. Union Berlin was interested in signing Serginho, but the player rejected the offer as he doesn't want to play in Bundesliga. There have been rumors linking the American with West Ham, but that option is still to be confirmed. Another Barca fullback, Jordi Alba, has spent 11 years at the club and during that time has won numerous trophies and has been included in various best 11 teams. However, at this moment, the Barcelona board are not content with the defender who turned 34 this March. This season Alba is often out of the first 11, starting matches on the bench, as Alejandro Balde has won the competition for the position. Jordi has another year on his contract, but the board intends to get rid of the veteran. This is not because his influence in the team has dropped. There's another reason. The thing is that Alba earns almost 21 million euros per year, which is as much as the third highest earning player, Robert Lewandowski. This is a very annoying factor for the board, especially during the ongoing financial crisis. Jordi, in his turn, has absolutely no desire to lower his salary and doesn't want to leave the club at all. We'll see if the board is able to find a compromise with their academy product. PSG: Mauro Icardi, Leandro Paredes, Keylor Navas, Julian Draxler, Renato Sanches. The Parisian club is going to have to get rid of another bunch of footballers this summer, as their team is packed with useless players. The majority of them were loaned out last summer somehow. First of all, we're talking about Mauro Icardi. After moving from Inter in 2019, the forward was losing his momentum step by step, and last season was almost forgotten by everyone. It's been long clear that Argentine is not in the plans of the club management. However, last summer, Icardi made use of the fact that he had a contract until 2024 with a salary of around 11 million euros per year. The player rejected a permanent move, but agreed to play on loan at Galatasaray. The thing is that 90% of Icardi's salary is still paid by PSG. The Argentine now doesn't mind staying in Turkey, though he understands he won't get his millions according to his contract. Another question is if Galatasaray is ready to pay the forward, as it is reported Mauro is not intending to lower his salary demands. Icardi's compatriot, Leandro Paredes, is also on loan this season. He performs for Juventus in Serie A. The midfielder failed to impress the old ladies board, so they are not going to buy him out. The player has played only 697 minutes in the tournament, which is a very low number considering there is a very weak competition for his position in the team. Goalkeeper Keylor Navas wanted to move to Napoli last summer, but was unable to come to an agreement with the PSG board concerning his contract termination. The Costa Rican keeper completely lost the competition to Gianluigi Donnarumma and last summer decided to move on loan to Nottingham Forest to get some playing time. He performed quite well in England, having played several decent matches, but the tricky trees are not going to buy the veteran keeper out. Besides, it is still dubious if the team will stay in the Premier League. If they get relegated to the Championship, hardly Navas would want to stay. Winger Julian Draxler also belongs to PSG, but performs for another club. The German is currently playing at Benfica. Unfortunately, this season was full of injuries for the winger. In February, the footballer had an operation on his ankle which will make him miss the rest of the season. With all this, it's going to be very difficult for PSG to find a new club for him. Last year, the Parisian club had a very disappointing transfer campaign as none of the newcomers managed to improve the game and prove himself in the team. Arguably, the biggest failure out of all was the transfer of Renato Sanches, who moved from Lille. The Portuguese player and the head coach Christophe Galtier knew each other, but despite that, Renato was brought as a rotational player. Although he has scored 2 goals in his 537 minutes in Ligue 1, his performance was very unconvincing. Besides, he was constantly being injured. In recent weeks, the midfielder has been linked with Leicester, but to make the transfer happen, the Foxes need to win the relegation battle to stay in the Premier League in the first place. The footballers from our today's list are going to get a chance to relaunch their careers this summer. Probably not everyone will be able to find a new team, however their departure will make all sides happy. The only exception is when players do not want to leave not to lose their contract money. Friends, which of these players do you think has the chance to stay at his club and revive his career? Let us know your opinion in the comments, we'll be happy to read them. See you soon.